What's up, everybody? We are back.
Round two.
Yes. Round two. Welcome to Lost in America's live stream. I'm Turner Sparks. With me is Sir Michael Ira Kaplan. You are all here. In a few minutes, we're going to be showing you our independently created television pilot. We financed it. We paid for it. Does that mean the same thing as finance?
It's the same word. Yeah, you're really redundant there.
We also spent all the money for it.
Yeah.
And we hired everybody. We hired the team. We put it all together. We created the idea. We went down to El Salvador. We got a team from Brooklyn to go down with us.
Kings County Productions.
Shoot the whole thing. Kings County Productions. Shout out.
Yeah. And then we got a local crew.
And we created this show based off of our podcast. So first, let's say thank you to everyone, all of you here, for subscribing to not only Lost in America podcast, but Lost in America's Patreon channel. That's how you all got here. We had a ton of new subscribers today come in. Let's give a shout out to everybody in the chat right now. What do you think, Cap?
Yeah, we got so many new subscribers today. So thank you, everybody. And thank you to the original subscribers who've stuck with us all these years. We don't want to forget you guys.
Those are the most important ones.
Yeah, you're way more important than today's cluster.
Yeah.
Johnny come latelys, but
yeah, although we do love them too.
We love them all.
Namely, let's read off all the new ones from today. We had Jimmy Bean, who's already in the chat right now eating a salad. It's zesty Italian.
Yeah, I love a zesty Italian. It's my favorite dressing. Underrated.
Thank you for coming. Seasoning. Melvin Coffin, my cousin. How you doing, Melvin?
Cousin
Caleb McMahon, I knew out in China. Debbie Tusi. Aunt Debbie's here.
Sorry, I'm getting distracted. My Ruby's writing a paper on my daughter on China, and she's looking for scissors here.
Now you know this is how our podcast goes. If we didn't have editing skills, this is every episode I have to cut together. Kaplan loses his attention span goes in like 30 seconds.
He's running into the shot here, so I'm fleeing kids away. Who else?
Mark Cisneros.
Oh, there you go. Cisneros real estate team.
Shout out to him. Thank you for joining. Cousin Lauren Sparks, thank you. Someone by the name of I Pooped My Pants. Welcome. Gave us $5.
A great we know who that is, right? I mean, I know a lot of people who've pooped their pants in the day, so I don't know who that could be. Anybody, but thank you.
Randy Drexler, a fan out in Detroit, Michigan. He's going to come see my show when I play out in Detroit, May 20th. Get tickets to that, everybody. Arvind Saxena, welcome to the show. Right. Daniel Granillo, or Granillo, maybe. These are all people who joined in the last day.
Last 24 hours.
Carrie Ebert, Gene Treaster, John Fitzgerald, Drana De Niro, William Davis, Bill Davis, Larry George, Alex Conway, John Valonas, Eric Johnson, everybody in the chat. Tug, welcome.
Welcome back, Tug.
Mark, how do I say Mark's last name?
Cisneros. And look, we got my cousin Johnny Stein is in the chat from Israel at 4 a.m.
How about that, Johnny Stein? Thank you for joining. This is a great show. So let's talk about our show for a second, Cap, before we get going. So we're going to start this. We're letting everyone join in now. We got people. People are still getting in here.
Gary Sparks is here. Yeah. Oh,
Gary Sparks is here. Fantastic. So as we said, we went to El Salvador. This is last summer. What we heard in the news that in El Salvador about a little over a year ago, decided to make Bitcoin their currency. So we said, that's too good of a story to pass up. So we went down there. You're going to see it. We hung out with all these comedians. We filmed this whole show. We finished it. We came back. We cut it all together. In January of this year, 2023, we submitted it to the Tribeca Film Festival. So everyone's asking, now that you have it done, what are you doing next? Well, that's what we're doing. We've submitted it to Tribeca Film Festival.
They have a TV category.
And they have an independently created television pilot category. It's exactly what we did. It's for people who've independently created their own TV shows and then don't know what to do with it. So they go to the festival, and then all these networks come watch at the festival, and they might buy us just like they buy a movie. They might buy our TV show.
Let's
go ahead, Cap.
Fingers crossed.
I'm cutting you off here.
No, that's the plan. And then we'll we know a few people. We'll make some calls and get some meetings and hopefully sell this thing. So you guys are seeing it. You're seeing the exclusive. And now Ruby's coming back in the shot. Sorry.
All right, back to me. So that was in January. We'll find out in April if we're in the festival, if we get accepted to the festival. If we do, Then it happens in June.
The festival's in June.
It's like a 2-week time frame in June. We would show our show then. And if we don't get arrested, I don't know. We'll go back to helping Ruby with her homework.
I'm gonna go torch Earth.
Not arrested. If we don't get into the festival,
I have to go torch Earth on my former employer for everyone. If we don't get in, so that's hopefully we get in. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully we get in. All right. I think we're about ready. We also have a very exciting special guest who's going to be joining us after. One of the comedians you will see, the El Salvadoran comedians you will see during this show is named Andrea McLeod. She's fantastic. She's hilarious. You're going to get to know her during the show. And then right when it ends, stick around because we're going to have her on to do a Q&A with us. You can ask questions to me, Kaplan, Andrea, whoever you want about anything you've seen on the show. We will answer it as best we can. We'll stick around for a while after right here. Yeah. And feel free to put your questions in the chat as you're watching if you want, because when the show ends, we can go back through them. Kaplan, go ahead.
Oh, look, and my mom, who last time could not figure out how to chat, has figured out the chat this time. So a big moment in boomer technology advancement. She's in the chat, Jan Kaplan. Thanks for joining. So yeah, everybody just put your questions in as you go and we'll comment and off again. Sorry.
Did we lose Kaplan? Kaplan, do you want me just to take it from here?
No, guys, I got these maniac kids in the background. Apologize. It's prime time.
All right, let's mute Kaplan. I'll take the rest of it. Lisa Kaplan, thanks for being here. Jan, everybody, it's great to have you. Let's start the show.
Play the music.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How's it doing tonight? I like that. That
sounds good.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Is this funny? Does this look funny to you? We're recording this for television in the United States of America. Oh, you did?
Y no tenemos visa, pero ahí nos están grabando.
You didn't know?
Yes, I know.
You're gonna be on TV?
Oh my God! Hi, Mr. Trump.
How slow is the news here?
No entendí.
I don't know what. Hey, everybody, that guy on the stage, that's me. I'm Turner Sparks, a world touring stand-up comedian. But before that, I spent 10 years as a typical neighborhood ice cream truck man. In China, you didn't expect that part, did ya? Yeah, I had 10 trucks, 2 stores, and look, all these newspaper stories written about me. Then I started China's first stand-up comedy club and spent 6 years telling jokes all over Asia, in all of these places. Now I live in New York City, where I co-host the Lost in America podcast with my friend Kaplan.
Believe it or not, there's major events happening around the world all the time, but we don't hear much about them because there's so much more important news to cover. Like this. And this. And oh yeah, that's super important. So every week on the podcast, we find a comedian who lives in the middle of that global news story and get their unfiltered explanation of what it's like on the ground.
And now, instead of sitting in a studio to do the interview, we're flying to their country to learn what's up with their news, what's up with their comedy scene, and of course, put on a stand-up comedy show while we're there. This week, we are lost in El Salvador. Let's go. We're going to El Salvador. Let's do it. Cap, we all have that one friend in our life who's way too into Bitcoin. But in El Salvador, that dude runs the country. Nayib Bukele, this guy, became president in 2019. On his Twitter page, he calls himself the world's coolest dictator. I mean, Cap, look at his hat. It's on backwards. He must be cool. In 2021, Bukele announced out of nowhere that Bitcoin would become the newest legal tender of El Salvador, joining the US dollar, which had been their only currency since 2001.
Yeah, and since then, his government has gone on a Bitcoin bender. purchasing over $100 million worth of the cryptocurrency and giving every citizen the equivalent of $30 in Bitcoin that they can only spend through a government-created app called the Chivo Wallet. They also made it the law that every business in the country has to accept Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if you're a hipster coffee shop in San Salvador or you're selling pupusas on the side of the road in Cojutepeque. Congrats, you are now a Bitcoin bro.
All of a sudden, a country that had mostly been known as the murder capital of the world and a hotbed of that gang MS-13 now has Bitcoin enthusiasts from around the globe flocking to El Salvador. There have even been reports that these expats created a fully functioning Bitcoin town known as Bitcoin Beach, which President Bukele credits for inspiring his crypto revolution. Cap, does this all sound real to you?
I don't know, man. This sounds crazy. But let's go to El Salvador, let's meet with some comedians, and let's find out.
So you all are comedians in a country that just made Bitcoin the currency. Do any of you have jokes about Bitcoin?
I actually bought Bitcoin on 2017 when it cost 700.
Yeah, very smart.
And I bought 1 Bitcoin and a half. Yeah, this year was around 70,000.
70,000, yeah.
But I forgot the password, so.
Before Bitcoin was announced in my country, I knew it was crazy. I mean, I knew it was a topic, but I didn't really look into it. When they announced, I started like trying to understand what Bitcoin was and what was going to happen. And I started to look at videos on the internet, like YouTube, like what is a rig? What is mining? Where do they mine? How does it work? I always say I feel like in the emperor's new clothes. It's like everybody's pretending to understand things that they don't understand. And I feel like, are we all pretending to understand this topic in El Salvador?
Yes.
Because it seems like...
No, not just El Salvador, in the world. Because if you don't understand it, you're stupid. So then we all just like, no, I get it. I know what Bitcoin is. I know what mining is. None of us have any idea. All right, I've done research, and I can explain Bitcoin mining to you in less than 20 seconds.
You can?
Yes. You ready?
Sure.
Start the clock. For Bitcoin as an entity to keep working, a math equation needs to be solved every 10 minutes, okay? Here's the issue. Nobody on Earth wants to do math for free. So Bitcoin's come up with this system where if you're the one who solves the math problem, they give you some Bitcoin. Those people on the computers, Bitcoin miners. The thing they're doing, Bitcoin mining. Stop the clock.
22 seconds, but pretty close. But in your country, people have to understand it, right? Because it's your legal tender now.
Yeah.
Because the government put in like $200 million.
US dollars.
US dollar, which is a lot to us. Like, we are a very poor country. I shouldn't be, like, it's a fact. So it's a lot of money that they are investing in a thing that I felt like I needed to understand it.
We already lost how much? ¿Cuánto perdimos?
150 vamos perdiendo hasta ahora.
$150 million.
We lost.
We lost with the Bitcoin drop.
It's a paper loss, though. They haven't sold it yet, so just hold it.
The president says, don't look your Chivo wallets now.
Wait, he said that?
Long-term investing. It's like
Él dijo que no viéramos nuestra Chivo wallets, ¿verdad?
Ajá. Y antes
said
decía,
that.
no
But when
dicen
it's high, he
wallet.
says, look at it, right? When it's like 60K.
Yes, when it was going up, he was like, look at your Chivo wallet. And now it's going down. Don't
Stop
look
the
your Chivo wallet.
Stop the count. So at the end of this week, I'm doing a stand-up comedy show with you here in El Salvador. It's my first time performing in your country. What do I need to know about doing stand-up here?
Que seguramente la mayoría de personas que están ahí trabajan en un call center, eso.
Most of the audience works at a call center?
Do you have any call center material?
If they know English, more than likely, according to Christian, they would work at a call center.
Really?
Good evening. My name is Gavi Rivera. I'm gonna be doing some of my set in English just in case there's a call center recruiter in the audience. Okay, you talk to me? Okay. After 8 years in the call center industry, speaking to US customers is finally to have some gringos actually want to listen to me. But don't get me wrong. We all been in some of us have been in a call center. Raise your hands if you ever, wow, I love you. You know how hard it is, right? We don't hate Americans. These Americans, we don't hate. We're talking about other Americans. And most customers are very nice, but day to day, you get there, put on your headset, you start, you pray. Because one bad note, QA is coming, what is happening? Huh? Okay, so we had most of all nice customers, but from time to time, you would get a customer that will pick on your accent. How? I mean, my English is perfect. So they will pick on my accent and we'll be like, what is that? I would like to speak to an American. And I mean, I went to the UCA, okay? So for the gringos here, I went to the Socialist University, okay? I went to the Liberal Arts University. Marxism, socialism, that's my jam. Thank you. So I will get all politically correct, all smarty pants. So like, listen, sir, I'm an American. You know what, sir? I am in America right now. And he would be like, So where are you located? And I would be like, in El Salvador. And he would be like, what part of California is that? LA, sir. LA is basically El Salvador, so you know. 2 million of us, we wash your dishes, sir. Be careful what you're saying. Thank you.
Cap, if there's one person the comedians all agreed could explain this Bitcoin experiment to us, it's Christian Guevara.
Yeah, he's the leader of the president's party in Congress. He introduced the bill legalizing Bitcoin, and he's the only guy who would let us walk the halls of Congress without first going through security.
Yeah, look at us taking pictures, not even a pat down.
And it turns out he's a giant fan of Nintendo and He-Man by the powers of Grayskull.
So this is the coolest Congress office I've ever seen in my life. Tell us about the video games.
Well, I have my Nintendo when I was 8 years old. I was grow up in a it's like a poor neighborhood. I don't have all this when I was a kid. And now I buy the things I didn't have when I was a young boy.
What about the duck hunt gun?
The gun is the original.
Are guns allowed in Congress?
The only one.
What was wrong with the dollar? Like, because you've been on
With
the
the
dollar.
dollar, no, we don't have any problem. El problema era, nosotros tenemos 3 millones de salvadoreños afuera y ellos envían mucho dinero para sus familias, envían remesas para su familia. Y los bancos se quedaban con una gran cantidad de esos dineros y lo lavaban hacia otros países, hacia centros financieros. Y las familias perdían muchas oportunidades de adquirir cosas porque los bancos se quedaban con ese dinero. Entonces nosotros decidimos darle la oportunidad como el Bitcoin para que ellos pudieran hacer transacciones sin necesidad de pagarle a los bancos, sin necesidad que los bancos se quedaran con su dinero. We are really tiny country. And we don't have like a natural resources. We don't have oil, we don't have gold, we don't have nothing. Only problems. We want to be the first country in the world who was the Bitcoin like a legal tender.
What are the main victories you've had with the Bitcoin experiment?
Nos sentimos libres de tomar nuestras propias decisiones. Y te lo digo claramente, antes, si un gobierno de Estados Unidos te quería evaluar mal, bueno, lo siguen haciendo, lo hacían, y no tenías herramientas para decirles que no. Es como que el banco, dueño de tu casa, al que le debes dinero, te decía qué hacer con tu casa. Hoy puedes tomar otra decisión.
A lot of older people don't have smartphones, which they need to use Bitcoin. Is there going to be a movement to get everybody a smartphone? Or
We create the Chivo Wallet. It's an app, but by our government. Everybody has a phone here in El Salvador. I mean, maybe it can be a crap phone, but yeah, but they have one.
like, we don't really understand, why does Bitcoin need to be legal tender to make that happen? Like, why couldn't you just teach people how to use Bitcoin without it actually having to use it? Because they could receive the money and then transfer it to dollars.
Nosotros no le enseñamos a las personas a usar el Bitcoin, ellos ya sabían usarlo. Si tú ibas a una playa que se llamaba El Zonte, todo pasaba en Bitcoin. Nosotros lo único que le dimos a la gente es decirle esta herramienta es legal y queremos ser el primer país del mundo en el que esto es legal. To the people who are in the Bitcoin world came here and make business and give opportunities to the young people and create jobs and opportunities for all the Salvadorians, not only for a few, for all the Salvadorians. That's our dream.
One of those people is an American dude named Max Kaiser. Max recently moved to El Salvador, and Kaplan, how would you explain Max?
Max is a character. He's a free thinker. He's a cool dresser. Most importantly, he's an advisor to the president on Bitcoin.
Yes, and he wanted to introduce us to pupusas.
What's a pupusa?
Oh, you don't know pupusas?
No.
I can explain pupusas in 10 seconds. Start the clock. Pupusas are a thick flatbread made of corn or flour stuffed with melted cheese, beans, pork, shrimp, fish, etc. Stop the clock.
Mmm. Delicious.
I'm considered to be the high priest of Bitcoin. So I'm considered to be like Satoshi's representative here on Earth.
You speak directly to...
I don't speak to, I get the message.
He's the conduit.
See, Bitcoin's coming from the future.
Yes.
And
It sounds like a cult.
well, not really, it's more like culture. It's about how do you organize people in a way where they're harmoniously all working and living in harmony.
It happened over Twitter that you decided to come here?
A couple of tweets that the president responded to.
You're in America.
Yeah.
You see on the news that Bitcoin is now legal tender in El Salvador.
Right, and then the IMF started picking on El Salvador.
And then what's your next move?
And then I tweeted to the president, and I said, essentially, fuck the IMF. You've got a lot of volcano energy. Use that to back a volcano bond and pay the IMF off.
Yeah.
Give them their money and tell them to go fuck themselves.
And what did he do?
He wrote, I like that idea.
Wait, he personally responded to you on
He personally
Twitter?
responded and said, this is a great idea. You know, in New York, there's a saying, right? Fuck me. No, fuck you.
I just want to publicly say we don't endorse this statement. We have no problems with the IMF.
Yeah, I'm not sure we know what the IMF does, but we love them. You do great work. Keep it up, and don't come after us.
Just don't audit us.
We brought that here.
Yeah. So I bring this is I'm bringing to this country.
And so,
I told this to the president. He was like, I like that.
A mí me gustan las pupusas. This is the pupusa song, right?
Right, this is it.
Pupusas.
Sing is for eating.
A mí me gustan las pupusas. Kaplan, go by yourself.
A mí me gusta las pupusas.
Hey! Max. Hey! We'll take it. A mí me gusta las pupusas. I'm teaching you
Yeah,
the
you
pupusa
just got
song.
here.
I came here for you to teach me.
We want to be able to interact with each other in a fair way. And so you need some money to do it. And we've struggled since the beginning to find perfect money. And we found it. We have perfect money. And you're seeing the results here in this country. El Zonte is working as a surf town and attracting a lot of surfers from all over the world. With Mike Peterson and the crew, they donated $100,000 worth of Bitcoin. And they see what would happen. And what happened is that it became hyper-Bitcoinization. People are using it, saving it, trading it. And it became the currency of El Zonte. Okay. So that model caught the attention of the president, who then went ahead and made Bitcoin legal tender. So that's how the country got to make Bitcoin legal tender.
We got to get to El Zonte. This place sounds like a Bitcoin utopia.
The whole country sounds like a Bitcoin utopia. But first, we need to access our Chivo wallets. For that, we turn to Gabby Rivera, a pioneer of El Salvador's comedy scene, now a world touring comedian, and today's guide for getting Bitcoin and hopefully spending Bitcoin in San Salvador. So Gabby, where are we?
We are right now at how you say, at the heart or in the heart? In the heart.
In the heart.
In the heart of San Salvador. Thank you very much. No, gracias. Muy
Take
amable.
Bitcoin.
Well, we could add her.
Bitcoin?
Le han pagado en Bitcoin, ocupa la Chivo Wallet usted. No la
No.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Muy amable, muchas gracias. No, she doesn't use Bitcoin.
How many comedians are in the local scene?
And the local scene, from the ones that
Like hundreds?
like stand-up comedians,
Stand-up comedians.
maybe 12, if I know them all.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay, this is my scene when I lived in China. We were about 10, 12 people
Yeah.
for years. What was the reaction at the beginning?
once they kind of understand that you're going to be doing something similar to Franco Escamilla, El Cojo Feliz, and other people from Mexico and Colombia, they say, oh, okay, I get it. You're gonna tell jokes.
Sure.
But 8 years ago, it wasn't so big.
And how did they find out about these comedians? YouTube or television?
YouTube for sure. YouTube has been like a big deal. I'm sorry to interrupt, but here comes a big TikToker.
Oh boy.
Her name is Jaharia, and she dances on her TikToks. She's very famous.
All right, let's go find her. Where is she?
No, she's right here. Jahaira, hola.
Oh.
Le
That's
está-
her? Oh,
le
right
estaba
here.
contando de usted.
I was thinking of a totally different
picture.
Oh, TikTok.
Jahaira, Turner, Michael.
This is all I get. I have 140. You already have. You got 50 followers now. Oh, my wife's gonna be very jealous. I'm TikTok famous.
You have no idea how big that was.
So why is it called the Chivo wallet?
Well, that's a really good question. It's like our word to say cool. It's really like cool.
Oh, so it means cool.
So yeah, are we going there? Yeah, Chivo, we're going.
So we're getting cool Bitcoin.
Cool money. This is the
So
cooler than regular
Bitcoin's
money.
cool.
For sure.
Oh wait, is this a Chivo ATM?
That's a Chivo ATM.
Oh, we're here.
Here you have my wallet. It's
Let's see it, yes.
back when they gave me $30, I only have $9.84. So my $30 became $9.84.
Have you used it?
Never.
Oh, so so when you got it, the price of Bitcoin's come down so much.
Yes.
That it's only worth $9.84.
So can I just give you dollars and then you buy Bitcoin for me?
Well, let's try it. I don't know.
Let's
how,
try it.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's saying recargar, like charge or take money out.
She's a citizen of the country. Bitcoin is your currency.
Yeah, you gotta know how to get your money.
445.
Just 12 easy steps.
Shut up.
I wonder why this isn't taking off in the country. It's so easy.
So easy.
Should we
Just
go
thinking.
ask the police officer with a machine gun if he knows how to do this?
There's no. Well, let's see if I can take out $5. No, it's only 20. I don't have enough
Oh, you
money.
don't have enough to even use it.
I need to wait until it goes out. Maybe we can try to find a store that takes Bitcoin and they can take my money.
$9.84.
There's a coffee shop there.
Let's do that. Let's at least see if we can get a coffee.
I can try to buy my things with the money in my wallet. Oh, so here's the place. Oh, they say, aquí aceptamos chivo.
They accept Chivo. They says they accept it.
We're doing it, we're doing it. Oh my God. Espérate.
Did it work?
I know it's saying your operation cannot be executed. Remember that your bonus needs to be spent in commerce or Chivo users. So maybe they are not.
Oh my God.
All right, we're paying cash. US dollars.
Chivo Pets is a nationalized hospital for pets started by the government to encourage the use of Bitcoin. If you pay with your Chivo wallet, any treatment is 25 US cents. 25 cents? It costs $25 to get my dog's nails cut.
One of Chivo Pet's best customers is Gabby Rivera's mom, Evelyn. Is it popular?
Yes. You know, I had an appointment for at 8 o'clock, and you have to wait until at least 10 because there's a lot of people waiting.
Okay. And it's good? The
Doctors
service
are good?
is
Yeah.
The service is good.
Wow. So do you think...
I saw a dog on a chemio.
A who?
A dog having a chemotherapy.
Chemotherapy for a dog.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
You know, I spent so much money in the hospitals with my dog, so this is the best way to get me to believe in the
Yeah,
cause.
you know,
I am in.
Can he fly down
Can I
here?
bring my
and
dog?
get it 25 cents?
That's what I told I have a cousin who does the nails to the celebrities, Marisol in Cirillo, and she spent $17,000 on her dog. I told her, you better fly to El Salvador. It's
For
cheaper.
25 cents?
Uh-huh.
So we're here at the ice cream shop. What do you recommend?
Well, I just have the like I told you, the dulce de leche. I didn't like it that much.
Oh, okay.
But I like a lot the
Sorry.
one that say chocolate de tablilla.
Okay.
That one I
Let's
like.
start with all the ones you didn't like very much. Bitcoin?
No, they don't accept Bitcoin.
Don't accept Bitcoin.
No.
No Bitcoin? No.
Wow.
Maybe later.
Cash only.
Next trip.
Next trip. Okay, you got it? Yeah. Look at that.
Tenés vuelto. Va.
Gracias, sir.
There is a lot of things about Bitcoin on TikTok and everybody, and they say that you should invest. And you have to be very careful because a lot of fraud.
So you have TikTok?
Yes, I have.
Amazing.
This is, how do you say, a brother-in-law. He was an active gorilla.
Whoa.
And now he's telling everything that they did 50 years ago, or whatever ago was the war here. And my brother was a surfer.
A surfer?
Yeah. And one day he comes home and told us that he has seen a lot of heads in the water, and I didn't believe him. And now my brother-in-law say that all his compadres or whatever they call the gorilla, the camera, they took it there, they took the head off and they throw it to the beach. And so my brother was telling the truth.
This is way more interesting than Bitcoin. Tell us more about the gorilla head chopping.
Yes, you know, I used to work.
From 1979 until 1992, El Salvador was embroiled in a brutally violent civil war between Marxist guerrilla groups like the FMLN and the government-backed military. Officially, over 75,000 people died and 8,000 disappeared. Everyone in the country of a certain age was touched by the war, including comedian Christian Megu's dad, Alex Mejia. At the time, Alex was a communist collaborator with the FMLN, and now times have changed. He owns a chicharron restaurant in the rural town of Santa Cruz en El Quito that by law has to accept Bitcoin. It has to. I ran an ice cream truck business for 10 years. Small business is hard enough without bringing crypto into it.
So when you opened, was the Bitcoin policy already in place? Did you accept Bitcoin right away, or was it something that came later on from the government?
No, nosotros nacimos antes del Bitcoin. Pero sí hemos tenido, desde que dijeron, prácticamente yo fui a un seminario por parte del Estado y todo. Yo manejo en mi teléfono manejo la cuenta, pero unas 3 transacciones he hecho.
Pero era obligatorio.
Sí, pero era obligatorio el uso. La verdad es que no sentí yo en el negocio, no sentí que la gente usara el Bitcoin. La gente lo que hizo es, como se le abonaron $30, se fue inmediatamente, bueno, los jóvenes, la mayoría de los hombres, a comprar licor y a desvaciar los $30 en cerveza y licor, se perdió. Las mujeres, algunas compraban cosas para alimentos y algunos, muy raro, para la comida. Pero eso se fue rapidito, ya no volvieron a usar eso. No, yo no lo veo, en lo personal aquí en el restaurante no lo vi, no tuvo ningún impacto, pues. 3 transacciones y a veces quizás en 10, 20, hasta 30 transacciones diarias. Y tener desde que nació solo 3 transacciones, prácticamente no es nada.
Do you pay your suppliers? Like when you buy the chicharron or whatever, any of your supplies, like the menu, do you pay your suppliers in Bitcoin?
No, ninguno me ha aceptado. A mis proveedores, como generalmente todo es de aquí, es bien poco lo que compro. No, lo que pasa es que como allí me pagaron como esas 3 veces, ¿verdad? Lo que pasaba lo pasaba $, ¿verdad? No, y mantenía bien poquito el Bitcoin porque se perdía.
All right, so he's only had 3 transactions total in Bitcoin in the life of his business, and he doesn't pay his suppliers in Bitcoin. And if you think about it, that street vendor lady, remember, she wouldn't take our Bitcoin, and the coffee shop didn't accept Bitcoin. The ice cream shop didn't take Bitcoin. I thought this was Bitcoin country. Where's all the Bitcoin?
Well, remember Max Kaiser said it's at Bitcoin Beach. He said it's hyper Bitcoinization. He said it's literally the currency of El Zonte. That's his quote.
Okay, fine. We'll see when we get there. Alex's son, Christian Megu, is one of the few comedians in El Salvador to make a full-time career in comedy, and it's due to his wildly popular YouTube channel.
Why does your YouTube channel work? Because like there's a million YouTube channels. What is your audience connecting with that you do on YouTube?
Sucedió porque yo cuando empecé en esto de la comedia era como el menor, tenía 16 años y yo sí sabía que quería hacer esto, sí era mi sueño ser un comediante y vivir de esto. Y sabía que la única forma de vivir esto es dándote a conocer a más personas. Y aquí una de las fuentes para darse a conocer era YouTube.
Wow. How old are you now?
23 años. Realmente sí requiere una cierta estrategia porque acá no existía el stand-up comedy, entonces yo no podía empezar mi canal de YouTube subiendo rutinas de stand-up comedy porque nadie las iba a ver y seguramente estaban malas, pues, o sea, seguramente no daba risa. Entonces empecé a hacer como vlogs, como para mostrar qué pasa acá en El Salvador, y ciertamente hay un público de salvadoreños en Estados Unidos que ve esto, que le encanta esto, y acá también consumen como a otras figuras, y mediante el podcast yo conectaba con otras figuras, que esas son las que conectan con el público local.
What's the ultimate goal for you with comedy?
Realmente lo que yo aspiraba era como tener un salario y que pudiera ganar como a mi edad en un trabajo con la carrera de mi universidad, y ya lo conseguí. Entonces puedo decir que esa meta ya está alcanzada, que lo logro con los shows y con YouTube, ¿verdad? Es como la mezcla, llego a eso. Pero actualmente, cuando te digo como que la meta es girar en El Salvador, girar en Centroamérica, es justamente para eso, para abrir mercado y poder andar haciendo material más rico, pues, porque estás en diferentes locaciones y al mismo tiempo mejoras tu nivel de vida porque estás teniendo shows todo el tiempo, pues.
Anduve esta semana con estos dogs, me hicieron una entrevista y hace tiempo no me sentía tan ignorante, más. O sea, estábamos en una mesa redonda y Gaby estaba hablando inglés y al mismo tiempo traduciéndome. O sea, la mitad lograba traducirme, ¿verdad? Entonces era como, okay. Comedy en El Salvador, good. Y de verdad, desde 9º grado yo no me sentía tan ignorante, más. En 9º grado no pasé ni un mes inglés. Y eso que solo me enseñaban el verbo to be, o sea, y ni aún así, man, o sea, de verdad que fue una semana complicada, pero también o sea, uno siempre encuentra, ¿verdad?, a alguien que lo hace sentir mejor. Entonces, entrevistaron a mi papá, son una mierda, ni he terminado. Entrevistaron a mi papá. Y le dicen a mi papá, en inglés le preguntan, ¿cómo podemos pasar a tu negocio? Y le dicen mi papá, ok, le dice mi papá. Y yo, de tal palo, tal astilla, dije yo, o sea, definitivamente, ¿verdad? Y yo me tripeaba, o sea, cuando andaba con estos dogs, me andaba con Tordale, andaba con Kaplan, y yo me tripeaba y decía, o sea, majes, o sea, yo me siento como en el detrás de escena de un documental gringo, decía yo, o sea, y, bueno, estoy en el detrás de escena de un documental gringo. O sea, yo en cualquier momento sentía que me decían, maje, vamos a África a grabar rinocerontes. O sea, vamos, ¿verdad? O sea, a fuego.
Cuando se acerca hacia su cama, cuando se deja caer la toalla.
So, besides Bitcoin, besides the amazing comedy scene, what else is El Salvador known for?
It was known before for violence, but right now we have been like 3 months without a single homicide, Kaplan.
Yeah, we're known. We're also known for surfing. Like we have Surf City now. We have Bitcoin Beach too.
Wait, what? All right, what's Surf City?
Sunsal is always known for the great waves. Is one of the top 10 waves in the world. So there's a lot of people that come just for the waves.
For all the talk about Bitcoin, surfing is as much a part of El Salvador's culture as anything. So, on the way to Bitcoin Beach today with comedian Andrea McLeod, why not stop at Surf City and put our expert American surfing skills to the test?
1, 2, 3, acá.
Quedamos. 1, 2, 3.
And jump.
Boom. I think you're gonna be good. I'm gonna be a natural, I think, right?
Su efecto mariposa. Su efecto mariposa. Su efecto mariposa. Su efecto mariposa.
realize you had to be in shape to do this. I thought you could just get out there. This comedian workout schedule I'm on does not prepare you for surfing.
Su efecto mariposa. Su efecto mariposa.
Come on, Kaplan! You got it! Come on, Cap. Oh, what's he doing?
What is he doing?
He tried to surf into the wave. Oh, jeez.
¿Has visto alguna vez a alguien surfear para adentro, así como surfear?
Never. So I made
No,
history.
first
On this
time.
beach. You're gonna be telling stories about me for years.
Record Guinness here.
I want to know, what was the what did you think was like best case scenario? Surfing at a wave.
I was swimming out there, and first of all, I could barely get my head underwater properly.
Yeah.
He was saying something, but I just assumed he was saying stand up, and I just went.
Well, I do think your form was good though.
Yeah, backwards.
He was El Centro, and then you did this. The problem was you were going the wrong way.
Su efecto mariposa.
Is it different being a woman in comedy? The audiences see you different from the men here?
Yes, of course.
Yeah?
They're like,
Also,
why is this woman speaking in public, you know?
literally just speaking
Yeah.
in
It's not
public.
even about the comedy, just like why she
Like,
talking.
it's like, you know, sex is life, you know, so we talk about sex. So it's like, why women are talking about that, you know? They shouldn't. Oh, that's so nasty. But if a guy do it, it's
Men
fine.
can do it.
Why do you think there aren't more women doing stand-up comedy?
Because they're shy. Maybe they think what they have to say is not important because society have make them feel like that. Like, so sit down, be quiet, look nice, you know, work on your legs, go to the gym,
Work
be
on your
pretty.
legs.
Like, I always loved comedy since I was little. I grew up watching Ellen DeGeneres. This Whose Line Is It Anyway? That was my favorite show when I was small. So I always dream about, I wish in El Salvador was a bar where you can go and see comedy. That was my dream. I like to feel jokes like that. Like
Did your grandmother? What'd she think of that joke?
She wasn't able to see it because she died. Sorry.
Good job, Kaplan.
Yeah.
Your family in general.
Any other dead people you want to bring up?
You want to ask about my aunt too?
I don't know.
Because she already died. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, no, you're kidding?
No, yeah, she died.
Just her great-grandfather.
Yo siento que como sociedad nosotros venimos y nos sacrificamos en muchas cosas y el amor no es una que va a quedar fuera. El amor requiere sacrificios. Les voy a explicar por qué. Yo tengo un primo que a él no le gusta la barba, pero a su novia le encanta la barba. ¿Qué tiene que hacer mi primo? Dejarse la barba. Yo tengo una chera, ustedes, que es bien morenita, pero a su novio le gustan rubias. ¿Qué hace ella? Balayage. Miren. Morenita, pero rubia. A mi novio le gustan las delgadas. Y yo me he tenido que sacrificar. Ahora estoy saliendo con su papá. Me convertí en su madrastra.
Puede ser lo que toma, pero Alicia siempre.
Finally, Cap, it's Bitcoin Beach time.
The promised land.
The Holy Land.
Utopia.
The Mecca.
The future.
The bustling metropolis. The one place on earth that runs on Bitcoin and only Bitcoin. Wait, what? A dirt road? A lake? We have to cross a lake? What is this?
Yeah, this is Bitcoin Beach.
But in the news, in social media, Bitcoin Beach is this like big giant beach with all these people and everybody's hanging out at the beach. There's a million shops where you can sell and buy Bitcoin and
Use Bitcoin.
You see how marketing is a really good lie?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're here marketing.
Well, we're doing the opposite here. But you're saying that this is mostly marketing?
Yeah, like,
You can use Strike right here, Bitcoin, at this place.
Yeah,
but it's
like,
not a
you
place.
can-
There's no place.
There's no place here.
you can buy it says here.
Right.
With Stripe.
With Stripe.
Yeah,
which is
but
an app.
from who? Just knock on the door and wake the guy up?
I think they're not open yet.
Hey, look at the wood. They haven't been open in years. So everywhere we've been so far, they're like, yeah, there's not much Bitcoin here, but when you get to Bitcoin Beach, everyone there uses Bitcoin. But now we've gotten to Bitcoin Beach and there's no one. There's no, look, there's that lady.
Yes, we're working on that. Like you see, this is going to be a big hotel,
Okay.
but it's not open.
Yeah, it doesn't look open.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a work in progress.
Buenas. Vende agua.
Put your.
Okay.
Oh boy, now we're cooking.
Oh, ¿cuánto cuesta Bitcoin?
¿Cuánto vale? $5. Y se puede pagar con Bitcoin.
Shiva
Es que ahorita no, porque mi teléfono se me arruinó, no tengo teléfono.
Ah, okay.
So you have to have a phone
To be able to use
because
Bitcoin.
you have to have the app.
You have to have a phone and internet.
No Bitcoin.
No Bitcoin at Bitcoin Beach. The heart of Bitcoin Beach.
No Bitcoin at Bitcoin Beach.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to have a phone
Right, you need a smartphone.
with a smartphone
And there's
with
no-
internet service.
Can we go try here? I feel like there has to be someone at Bitcoin Beach that takes Bitcoin.
Yeah. And they are
Yeah,
open.
let's see.
It's not called Dollar Beach. I'm a professional.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, this place has a sign, so
They're open. They're the first place when you enter town.
it's open and it has a sign.
They gotta have Bitcoin.
They gotta be able to take Bitcoin.
Yeah. Buenas. Le puedo preguntar. No acepta Bitcoin.
No accepted Bitcoin.
No Bitcoin on.
I understood that.
Sí, no acepta Bitcoin.
That sounded almost Italian. No accept the Bitcoin.
No aceptale Bitcoin.
Se encuentra ella misma. Esto es lo que adora.
So right now, it's a plan, it's a dream, it's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea that is developing slowly, but it's developing.
Right.
We guess.
I will say you're right. There's a beautiful hotel there. There's some beautiful hotels back in the town.
There's
and
a
then
fire behind us. There's like a.
There's a fire.
And something's
behind
on
us.
fire right here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's-
Contrast.
We're almost halfway there.
And beautiful waves.
And the waves are beautiful. All right, so can we say Bitcoin Beach coming soon?
Coming soon, a work in progress. Bitcoin Beach.
Todo lo que sube baja, vuelve a subir.
So guys, let's go back. We have to cross the river because the town is divided by a river.
Sure.
We need a Bitcoin bridge.
Now we're thinking.
Well, from what I've learned from being here, we can say Bitcoin Bridge. It doesn't have to exist.
Exactly.
Just say
There it
this
is.
town has Bitcoin
Say
Bridge.
it will come.
Do you like our bridge? It's a Bitcoin bridge.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
The future is here.
Todo lo que sube baja.
In the end, Bitcoin is a dream. It's a hope. Maybe even a Hail Mary for a brighter future. But if El Salvador can be known as the offbeat, kooky Bitcoin country and not the murder capital of the world, maybe that's a win. Every comedy scene has the jokes that, like in New York, everyone talks about riding the subway. Like, oh, I was on the L line yesterday, ha ha ha. You know, what are like the local jokes that everybody a lot of people do?
Normalmente hablan del el Bitcoin sale así como del archivo wallet, que es como lo más común, o de los políticos, porque los políticos siempre se prestan como a hablar mucho de eso.
I also about the buses. I feel like the buses, like I was in the bus, like
You
transportation.
should say that. You should say I was on the bus.
Well, I wasn't on a bus. Maybe we'll ride
We'll
a
ride
bus.
the bus. What line do they make fun of?
44.
44.
44.
44. 44. No bueno. Muy mal.
Like here in El Salvador, it's very typical. Like, oh, you know Gabby. Oh, you mean Gabby, the one that, and then we say your worst gossip. Like, oh, Gabby, the one that I don't know.
Does the pedophile jokes.
Does the pedophile jokes.
pedophile Gabby.
Like you introduce people with gossip.
Because you know, in America, when like we go on stage, they'll say, "You've seen this next comedian on like Comedy Central on the Daily Show," but here, like this next comedian abuses his dog.
Yeah.
So how would you introduce me, knowing that you introduce everyone by their worst trait?
Yeah, what's your
How would I be
signature?
brought on stage?
Like here,
Like, give it
Here
whatever
are,
you
some,
want.
here are some gringos that came here thinking that they were gonna find something in Bitcoin City, Bitcoin Beach. It seems like they don't have Google to look it up or something like that.
Turner Sparks! How's it going, everybody? I'm excited to be. I'm just excited. I came from New York to El Salvador to perform comedy at a pizza place. That's pretty good. That'd be like you going to America to hang out in a pupuseria. First of all, I love pupusas. Yes, love pupusas. I also love your strict rules with when you can eat pupusas. You can have a pupusa for breakfast, you can have a pupusa for dinner, but never for lunch. What? Yeah. And it's serious. I saw a guy holding a shotgun guarding a pupusa restaurant just in case somebody tried to eat a pupusa for lunch. I'm swearing to you, I'm traveling with my friend Kaplan. I lost Kaplan for an hour yesterday. I was like, oh no. Did he go and eat a pupusa for lunch? Rest in peace, Kaplan, I guess. I'm gonna have to do the rest of this trip by myself. I love it, man. The Chivo, oh my gosh, Chivo everything, Chivo wallets, Chivo pets. That place is amazing. If you don't know, Chivo Pets is a hospital for pets. Yeah, and if you pay with the Chivo wallet, every procedure is 25 cents. That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna come back with my dog and get it a triple bypass just for fun. I might throw him an extra 25 cents. Let's make this a double triple bypass. Let's bypass everything. Let's just see what happens. I don't even know if that's possible, but for 50 cents, we're gonna find out. Thank you very much. My name is Turner Sparks. You've all been fantastic. El Salvador.
Solo yo y en mi jungla, donde escapo.
What's up? Do you accept Bitcoin? Yes. Hey, we found one person.
My favorite thing is we've got 2 armed guards patrolling and guarding an ATM machine that nobody in the country seems to know how to use.
I'm gonna follow you in TikTok so you will have more followers.
All right, 38. I'll be up to 38.
It's generating an incredible positive life force. I mean, not to get overly Star Wars about it.
No acepte el Bitcoin.
All right, let's go.
So I guess it's time to journey home.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for checking out the show.
hope
it
you
was
liked it.
fantastic to have you all watch it. Kaplan, go for it. I keep talking over you.
No, I was just saying. I hope everyone liked it. It was fun watching with y'all.
So fun. We're going to bring in our guest in just a second, but one quick announcement to make. So now all of you, whether you're new or old, whether you joined today or joined years ago, you're all Patreon subscribers for our show. Thank you very much. Things we do for our Patreon subscribers. Right now, I want to let you all know what you already get as being a member of our show. Obviously, you get Lost in America podcast. We put that out every single week for free to everybody. So if you're not subscribed to that, go into your phone, go to your podcast app and search Lost in America. It's me and Kaplan doing exactly what we just did in this show, but we're do it in audio form via podcast. We find a new comedian every week in a different country to explain whatever the big news item is there that we're interested in that country. So recent episodes we've done. We've talked to Misha Kalin, who is currently a comedian who's also fighting in the Ukraine war. So Misha comes on every once in a while and he updates us on what's going on in the war. That's in the podcast. CR Mateen, an Afghan comedian who escaped Afghanistan last year when it fell to the Taliban. He's now living in
Literally
Canada.
escaped the Taliban.
Excuse me. What did I say?
He literally I'm saying he literally escaped the Taliban. He when we got him after it was months later. He came to Canada. It was an amazing story, and filled us all in. Yeah.
Yeah, we have Tony Cho come on. He's a comedian in Beijing to tell us what life is like for a comedian in China. Oleg Denisov, a Russian comedian who we had on long before the war, who has now fled Russia, moved to Germany, and opened a stand-up comedy club in Germany. These are just this is the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we have super interesting comedians on every single week. And it's all for free on Lost in America. So you get that. That's for everybody. But what you guys get once a month now, we're going to be doing a private Zoom hangout, a happy hour,
like this.
Off the record idea, off the record, we're calling it, where we're going to have one of these comedians we just told you about on once a month into a private Zoom. You're going to get the Zoom link. And we all get to hang out with them. And any questions that Kaplan and I didn't ask on the podcast, you can then ask them right there in the chat. I mean, we're just all going to be in a Zoom meeting hanging out. It'll be you, me, Kaplan, and Misha Kalin in Ukraine.
Yeah. And if they live in a country where they have to watch what they say on the Lost in America podcast because of security issues on this will be a off the record, as you say, so they can be a little more loose-lipped and give us the real story or things they couldn't talk about.
Yeah, this is not going out to the mass audience. This is only for the subscribers. So that you get that. Plus, you get our Live from the Bunker show. Kaplan and I do that a couple times a week. Pure comedy out of me and Cap. Half hour every episode. Comedy. Full throttle comedy podcast. No holds barred. There's no agenda. We're not talking politics. We're just going straight comedy every single episode. That's through the Patreon app. And if you don't know how to subscribe to that, I can tell you how to get that to come straight into your phone. Also, just message us. Any questions, email us at lostinamericapod@gmail.com. I'm going to put that in the chat right now. And then in americapod@gmail.com. I don't know if I did that.
lostinamericapod@gmail.com. You can email us. You can also comment on the Patreon on each episode. You can comment on, and we will.
There you go. All right, now let's get to our guest for the evening. So you all just saw her performing stand-up comedy, hanging out with us at Bitcoin Beach, hanging out with us at Surf City, trying to teach us how to surf. Everybody, now welcome Andrea McLeod to the show, all the way from El Salvador.
Hi guys.
Just seeing you, I'm getting traumatized about surfing, but go on.
It's been a really great time. I really enjoy it. I was watching myself on the YouTube video, and I was like, who taught me English? Sofia Vergara or what?
Your English is fantastic. Yeah. Let's start here. What did you think of the show?
I love it. I think it's really interesting because you're showing a lot of parts of El Salvador. You're showing the main city, San Salvador, the center of the city. You're showing the beach. You're showing the people. I love that you met this lady that danced.
That was not planned, by the way.
Yeah, that was great. I love also the comedy inside of all of it. I love. There's one part I have in my head. That is this when we are on the beach and you're saying, "Oh, the roads are dirty roads," and then there's a dog that just moved the head and it's like, "What?"
That was perfect.
For me, that detail. I love details, so I really enjoyed that. It's funny.
Well, let me just read some of the comments right now that are coming in. We have Tug says that was seriously great. Rodrigo was almost like a fixer, almost a director of the show. We wouldn't have been able to do the show without Rodrigo create this. And am I pronouncing that correctly? His last name?
Probably not.
Rodrigo's in the chat right now. He says that was awesome. Rodrigo helped us figure out how to get from point A to point B, how to get drivers, how to set up all these interviews, how to anything we needed to do, where to eat lunch. He was with us the entire time.
Kept us out of jail once. Did it all.
Translated the whole thing. Kaplan, why don't you tell the story of how he got us out of jail once?
Oh yeah. So the final night when we did that, the comedy show, the big finale, Turner was, you saw him on the air. He was writing those jokes. Last second, he calls me over. He said, I want to just run through the jokes.
Well, Cap, before we do that, let's get the timeline for everybody. So we were there for 4.5 days total, I think.
Yeah.
The entire time was 4.5 days. It was supposed to be 5.5 days. And on the way down, we got stuck because of American Airlines. We got stuck in Miami for 24 hours, sitting at the airport. So we had 4.5 days, and we knew the last day, the very last night, the end of the week was going to be that comedy show. So everything was kind of leading to that. And I was going to have to write in the 4.5 days, write my set because I wanted all my jokes to be about what we were doing. But if we hadn't done anything yet, I couldn't write any jokes. So we had to do it as we were going. All right, go ahead, Ken.
Yeah, you weren't writing about the bus riding the 44. You wanted to write real material that you actually experienced. So we were writing jokes all week. You were finalizing it. You wanted to go through it. You said, we got to get away from everybody, though. So we stepped outside. We were about to walk down this street, and Rodrigo said, oh, it's a little dangerous. Maybe just stay close. So we went and we picked a bench right next to the police station, a policia. We thought, this is a great place. You sit down, and Turner, I don't know how other comedians work, but when you tell a joke, you don't practice your jokes by mumbling them or just reading them. You practice them the way you're going to perform them in the show.
Full throttle.
It's full throttle, high energy Turner Sparks. I'm getting a one-man show here, and you're going, and it's going great. I'm laughing. I'm enjoying it. And then all of a sudden I hear like the steps on the ground, and I see these like long shadows, and I look up, and it's about three or four police officers. It's like they're waving the batons, and they're just looking at us like they start speaking Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish very well, obviously, but I know they think we're drunks. I can tell immediately. I hear the word alcohol.
Beber. They say beber. Cerveza.
No, I was not performing, for anyone wondering, so I may have had a few, but I wasn't drunk or anything.
Kaplan actually was drunk. We should.
I luckily had enough sense that the beer that I was carrying when you called me over, I did not walk out with me. I put it down, so I did not have it with me. But you were stone sober, and they just thought we were drunk, and they just start talking, and you're saying comedy show. Your Spanish is better than mine, but it's not good enough to get us out of this situation. So we are about to go away, it looks like. And then all of a sudden, Rodrigo, luckily out of the corner of his eyes, the fixer, the wolf, whatever you want to call him, he comes flying over and he starts explaining to these guys. And they at first, even with he was doing a good job, it seemed, but even at first, it seemed like they weren't buying it. It was like he was really, they were
going to haul us off to jail.
They weren't
stand-up
fans.
We should say that the country was like in a state of emergency.
We're in a state of emergency, yes.
Where essentially, if you went to jail,
you're not coming out.
The law got changed, so you didn't have the right to a lawyer or anything to get out of jail.
Instead of 72 hours, you have to be there for 2 weeks.
So we would have been in like those videos that are going around. They shave our head, and then like
60,000 people are they
make us run in our boxers,
and they would charge us for it too.
Into a new prison.
Yeah. It's a state of emergency. They would think we're gangsters, and so thank you, Rodrigo, for that, because obviously it would have, if we would have got that on film, it would have been great for the show, but we didn't.
Rodrigo rescued us. Shout out to Rodrigo. Thank you. Let me just read some of these comments. Steve Bloom says, "Good work, guys. This is really great." Thanks, Steve. I like how Crazy Piro 91. What's up, Crazy Piro 91? Says, "I like how this dude unironically is using the Pope and God to contrast his relationship."
It's about Max Kaiser, I believe, at that point.
Max Kaiser, yeah. Let's see, what else do we have here? Crazy Pyro 91 says, I'm surprised Turner didn't start a fire with those hot dance moves. Thank you very much. Let's see. We have so many comments. Great show, Gary Sparks, my dad. Tug says, "Whoa, that was seriously great." Jan Kaplan's mom says, "That was great. I liked it even better the second time."
Yeah.
Randy says, "So well done, guys. Awesome show. Great work." Debbie Tusi, impressive quality. We enjoyed it. Great job. Mark Cisneros says, "Seriously hope this show gets picked up. Would be great to see you guys travel around in other countries." Cap, your cousin, Johnny Stein, says, "Great job, guys. Worth watching at a random hour of the late night, early morning."
He's in Israel, 4 a.m. for him. So thanks.
He's in Israel. Jimmy Bean loved it, said well-paced, entertaining. If any of you has any questions for Andrea or us,
Right now,
throw them in the chat right now. I don't think, and my dad says go listen to Lost in America podcast. Oh, he says go listen to the Live from the Bunker Thanksgiving show. He specifically listened to that a couple days ago and called me and said it's the funniest one he's heard.
Oh,
so
there you go. And
that. Andrea, all right. So I thought the comedy you guys all did was of a very high level. I was really pleasantly surprised by how good everyone was with the stand-up. And how long have you all been doing stand-up?
Now we are better.
Well, you
got better since we left.
I mean, that was last summer, but yeah.
Yeah, I have a whole new set now. Also, Gabby and Christian and Brian. I have been working on my comedy since 2014.
Yeah.
So at the beginning I was really bad, but then I stopped and I started like doing. I took a trip. I went to Israel. I went to Jordania, Jordan, to do meditation and traveling.
Walk
and
the
after
earth.
that, like my mind changed. So my comedy, I think now is better. Like from 2019 to this date, like it's been improving. I think we do a lot of work because there is no much stand-up comedy here. Like we are the only ones. Like not just three of us. It's just the three of us, Brian, and also another group. Maybe we're like 15, like top.
Right.
15 total comedians.
There was 12 when we were there. Now we're up to 15. But
There's
that's
three
still,
more.
We had 4 of the 15 comedians in the country on this TV show. So that's like almost a third.
We need to work hard, like to have people entertained. Because if we give the same content, people is going to be, I already saw it.
Yeah, you can't. So in New York, we can do the same sets every night because the audience is constantly changing.
Yeah.
There's tourists coming in, going out. But where I started in China, we would have to change our sets like every 6 weeks because the same people would come back. So you have the same thing.
Yes, we have to change it like all the time. Yeah, we have a space to make comedy because we all love comedy. I think just Gabby and Christian live from comedy. Like I cannot live just for comedy.
Oh, you mean sole income?
They make a living, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question here from Mark Cisneros. He asks, Andrea, are you touring anytime soon outside of El Salvador to any other Latin American countries?
Yeah, I was in Mexico. I was doing my show. I was surprised that they really enjoy it. And I was like, wow, because it was my first time outside. But I want to travel. Yeah, I wish I can present my comedy in another Latin countries. I think I'd have to put my mind on that and start like contacting people that can take me to the places and all that. But yeah, we love, like right now I have this new show about love, about I'm starting making like comedy about psychology. So for me, this is a big challenge because I'm start talking about the I don't know how to say it in English, but in Spanish is la herida de infancia, like when you are like a child and your parents hurt you and
repressed memories or or things from your childhood.
Yeah, that's it. So I'm talking about that. So yeah, I would love to take my comedy to other countries. I have not planned it, but
you just said you were surprised. You said you went to Mexico and you were surprised that they liked it. What is the, because we know with English language comedy, it's kind of known that New York, LA, and London are the top places. And then if you start somewhere outside of there, like obviously as far away as China, but even like if it's in Dallas, Texas, or Chicago or Atlanta, eventually you want to get to those cities. Is there, for Spanish language comedy, where's the city, the place you want to get to prove yourself, kind of?
Mexico.
It's Mexico.
Mexico. Okay. Yes, they have great artists, like comedians from Mexico. They can live from just doing comedy. Like they produce shows, they produce also like TV shows. They also make music. They also make cine. So that's the country of like art. So for me, it was a big challenge because I was in a place where there is a lot of comedy, a lot of comedians. So here in El Salvador, we are only 4 women, like doing comedy. And in Mexico, there are like 100. It's a lot of people. So yeah, it was a challenge for me to go there because it's a place where it's known for the art and the
Let's
comedy.
see. Well, my dad just put something in the chat, and he has a recommendation for you.
You got a place to stay, right?
He says you should check out the comedy scene in Acamal, Mexico.
Oh yeah, great scene.
He said they love comedy there. That's where my parents live. I would say like a third of the year. They have a place there, and they go down there. Acamal, it's north of Tulum.
Yeah, you don't
between
wanna play
Tulum
Tulum.
and Playa del Carmen on the Yucatan Peninsula. I've performed there twice. So they used to have a comedy festival every year in English and Spanish. And I performed there. And then I performed just this past January at a place there. The name, it's just a beach bar that we just turned into comedy for the night. But the name of the beach bar is Lolha, Lolha. I'm like, they knew they were going to be a comedy club at some point.
Yeah.
Naming it Loja. So he says go to Acamal, Mexico. We have another question in here from Randy, but Cap, you got something?
No, I was gonna say your dad also says, Andrew, you're as good a stand-up comedian as a surfer. Keep it going. Congratulations. I hope he doesn't say the same thing about my comedy skills.
Kaplan, you're as good of a comedian as you are a surfer.
Maybe that's why I don't do comedy often.
Going backwards. Love that part. Thank you. You're so sweet. Oh, so sweet.
Randy has a question for you in the chat, Andrea. He says, since Turner and Kaplan left, has local Bitcoin usage increased or decreased? Has it gone up or gone down?
It went crazy because Bitcoin right now is like it lowered his price. So I think it was 24,000. And it was 70,000 in that time. So it got really down.
People aren't using it still then.
People are not using it. Like if we are going to use Bitcoin is when Bitcoin is high. Like if you bought it like in 2007 when it was like 700, you can use it now because it's 24. But if you bought it for 50,000, you cannot use it now. You have to wait.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you ever find your password?
No, don't talk about it.
Subject too soon?
Don't remind
Tried
me.
everything.
Dios mío.
We don't have it. It hasn't been an improvement because Bitcoin went down, so we cannot it's not viable. It's not viable.
So do you think, because there's a TV show in America called 60 Minutes, and it's a really popular, famous journalism TV show.
Hard news.
And they went to El Salvador 3 months before we did. And they went to El Zonte. They went to Bitcoin Beach and they interviewed only the American people there. And they went, wow, look at this. Everyone's using Bitcoin everywhere all the time. Do you think that they were telling the truth and we were telling the truth? And it was just different times?
Or different people, like those people do.
I think we're both telling the truth. Like, we went to the people. Like, people are not using it. Yeah. They are not using it. Like we don't have these amazing roads. Locals are not using it. But if you go to the hotel that was built by an American, for Americans, and they also have Bitcoin, they're going to say, yes, of course we use Bitcoin. Because
they pay each other in Bitcoin. Among their community, they use Bitcoin. That's really what it is ultimately.
And that's great, you know?
The Bitcoin bro.
And the Bitcoin ban, they can use it, and it's true that we can use it. Like, I can go outside and go to the supermarket and buy something. But
you can use it if you want to. It just doesn't make sense to use right now.
Yeah, people are not using it. It's like, for what? You can give me dollars, so why I am going to give?
Yeah,
you
you still have dollars. So,
Yeah.
and what I don't know what you, Randy asked a follow up question. He said, "What do you think? What do you see for the future of Bitcoin in El Salvador?" And he said, "Is it going to be of use, or really is it only of use for comedy purposes?"
For us.
If
I
it
don't
goes
know.
up,
It's going to go up, I think.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Yeah. So if it goes up, I think we're going to have like great benefits because El Salvador bought a lot of Bitcoin. So we can have like this earning from that Bitcoin. And in the plans is doing the Bitcoin City that is going to be
That's
on
for
La
our next
Unión.
trip.
Yeah. So it's going to be in the volcano and all that. But right now, all of that is in paper. So I think it could be. It could be. The world is going to a more technology use and with AI also. So I don't see far that we are going to start using like cryptocurrencies like more often. Yeah, I don't have a doubt about it. It's not this time. We need to be patient about that because it takes time, I think it's a great idea. Like, come on, a country that says, okay, we are seeing that this is a way to make money, to don't pay taxes and all that. So we want to do it. Like, it sounds really good. Like, I want to go to a country where I don't have to pay taxes. And that's going to be Bitcoin City.
There you go.
that'll be it. So they're planning for an entire city that the government will set up. That'll be a planned city.
Only Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
It's just that's the currency of the city, and that's the plan.
The problem is that everything is going like really expensive for the locals. That is something I told you.
It's for international people. It's for Americans,
We have
basically.
a lot of international people that they're buying land for 200,000 and they're like, fine, yeah, 200K. They're like, fine. Like in my country, it's expensive, more expensive. But here, we're not used to that. So people are not able to buy a land in these places. Like I have been looking for lands in 3 years. Like in 2020, there was a land that I was going to buy, but I didn't buy it. It's like the password. There was for 10K, It's cheap.
10,000 US dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bought another land. 3 years later, that land cost 100,000. I don't know.
Wow, 10 times more expensive.
10 times the price in 3 years.
And why is that?
It's because of Bitcoin City.
It's in Bitcoin City. She almost stumbled into Bitcoin City. If you would have known.
It is an idea. It's marketing. Like I told you, it's marketing. Like people are really buying at that. There's people working in El Salvador, like remote working, remote jobs on the beach. Like the beach is nice. People is nice. It's cheap for them. So it's like, yeah, of course they want to be here.
I mean, I saw that El Salvador is opening an embassy, a Bitcoin embassy in Texas, in Austin. Ooh. I don't even know to promote.
Wait, I'm going to Austin in October. I should go.
Check out the embassy. Yeah. Maybe if you want to come to America next time you come, you can be an ambassador there or something. I don't know what that means exactly, but check it out. Find out for us.
I'll call up Christian Guevara, our friend in the government, and see if he can get me a pass. We have a question. This is for Cap and I from Tug. He says, if this show gets picked up, where would you want to film next? Take it, Cap.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say anything that's going to get me in trouble with my mom or my wife, but no. Do
you want me to say?
You say the dangerous places.
I'm forcing Kaplan to go to these places. All right, Jan Kaplan. Aunt Debbie, I'm forcing your nephew to go. But our next ideas, we have a few. We would like to go to South Africa. So we have a friend there who's a comedian who was the first Black comedian to perform on a big stage at a big festival after apartheid ended. And that was in apartheid only ended in 1994. So that was in 1998. So I think this idea that apartheid ended and like, boom, you snap your fingers and everything's good. That's not kind of how society works. And it's not how it worked here, right? In the 1800s, everything takes obviously a long time. So he has this comedian has a show that he tours with now every year. It's become the biggest touring show in South Africa. It's called Blacks Only, which is kind of like a joke play off Whites Only, which is what everything used to be. And it's not only black comedians, but he brings in the most famous white comedians as a way to draw an audience. And then he features up and coming black comedians who wouldn't necessarily get the stage. So we want to go on tour with him and see how comedy is working to bring the two races back together post-apartheid in South Africa, and just kind of check in on where the country is now. Almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years next year since apartheid ended. So that's one story. Another story. I started stand-up comedy in 2009 in China. And I was the first locally based stand-up comedian in the country. I started the first ever open mic. I opened the first ever comedy club. I had the first ever comedy scene. Then I moved to New York and we built and built and built. I moved to New York in 2016. The scene has since taken off, and now it's this multi-million dollar industry with giant specials on TV and stadium concerts and sold out theaters. And I want us to go back, hang out with the Chinese comedians who were open micers 10 years ago at my club, who are now famous, to profile what's happened in the comedy scene in the last 10 years in China and how you can do comedy safely in a country where there isn't free speech, how you can get through, because there's ways to get around it, bounce through. You could talk about whatever. There's a million things to talk about. That's the number one question people ask me when I tell them I started in China. They go, well, how could you do comedy if you couldn't talk about politics? And I was like, well,
there's other funny things in life.
Turns out
politics.
There's a million, not everything.
Not all the Daily Show.
Yeah, it's not all Stephen Colbert and Daily Show. There's a million other funny things to talk about that don't have anything to do with politics. So that's another one. And then we have friends in Ukraine.
This is where it gets dicey, but
Kaplan.
Misha,
I'm going to force Kaplan to go. We have this Misha Kalin we talked about earlier, who is a stand-up comedian from my club in China, who's originally from Belarus. He's now moved to Ukraine, and he's fighting in the war against Russia.
He's in the Belarusian battalion.
And he wants to show us around when he's off duty at some point.
Yeah, we're going to put on those press jackets. We're going to get in the front lines.
Take us to all the comedy shows that are still happening to this day in Ukraine in bomb shelters across the country. So there's plenty of ideas.
Plus, we have a deep roster of comedians that we've profiled over the past few years, and we've got a lot of ideas. So.
Yeah, and we also got a shout out here to Diplomat Mike.
Oh yeah,
so Diplomat Mike was a guy we stayed with a U.S. diplomat. It's a friend of my brother's, Agent Babyface, who we stayed with Diplomat Mike in San Salvador. He gave us a car with diplomat plates,
which was a lot of fun.
So that meant we couldn't get pulled over. We were completely safe. And my dad is saying maybe Diplomat Mike can set up that meeting in Austin, Texas for you.
Oh yeah, Mike should come in. We should do a live show there. live from the Bitcoin Embassy.
And Cap, your buddy Mark's asking if he can be our roadie.
He's in. We'll sell the real estate while we're there.
So Randy, Mark, everybody, Tug, thanks for asking. We've for years we've been doing a new podcast every single week on these topics. So we have comedians around the world. And so we're fully prepared to turn this into a television show in terms of episodes. So we're ready to go once anybody's ready to go, whether it's
write us a check.
Any street. Yeah. Write us a check. PBS,
if you're friends
Netflix,
with,
we'll take Amazon Prime.
Pluto.
Pluto. Is that one? Quigley. Does that still exist? CISO. If you're defunct, we'll bring you back to life.
Public access channels, whatever you got.
Where are the Impractical Jokers on True TV? We're at least good enough for True TV. They'll at least take us.
Find out soon enough.
Blow
if we're not.
Thanks, everybody. I think that's it. We're going to leave this stream up for the next 48 hours. So if you know anyone who's a subscriber who has not yet seen it, tell them it's up for 48 hours. And if you know anyone who you think would love to see this, tell them to go to patreon.com/Lost in America, just like you did. Tell them to subscribe, and then we will send them this link anytime in the next 48
don't
hours.
Share the link with people who didn't subscribe, because we don't These free
We're a
letters.
small business.
Yeah, small business here. You're like the people who are filming movies and selling the DVDs on Canal Street. Come on.
Don't do that.
One coffee a month, one latte.
Don't do that. That's it. So thanks, Andrea. Genuinely, thanks for doing it. Did you perform in the U.S. a few months ago? Last question. I know you said you were in Philadelphia, or did you not make it to Philadelphia?
I was going to an open mic, but when I get there, it was closed. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm going to be there on May because I'm going to be visiting my brother. So
come to New York.
Yeah.
I have my own show every Wednesday night in Brooklyn, New York. You will do my show. Please come do my show.
And we can go surfing. It's May. Are they still talking about me at the beach? Am I like a legend? There's a groan.
The guy that went backwards. That was good. It was the first time of the local guy to see someone going backwards.
Yeah.
It was the first time anyone's seen someone going backwards.
I created a new. Yeah. I think it was Tug who said that I'm a disruptor. So that's
a disruptor.
I'm a wave disruptor. Thank you, Tug.
Well, thank you, Andrea. Yes, that's great news. We'll see you in May.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Thanks for doing it. Thanks to Comedy Hub, Jared at Comedy Hub on Twitch for hosting us. Everybody, if you're on Twitch, subscribe to Comedy Hub. They put out stand-up comedy shows almost every single night. They live stream stand-up comedy shows across America, usually LA and New York. And they live stream my show every Wednesday from the Postmark Cafe in Park Slope, Brooklyn. So check that out. Thank you. Everybody follow Andrea on Instagram. And of course, me and Kaplan. And all of our names are already up there. That's it. Good night, everybody.
Get lost.
Night.
If you need a shrink in El Salvador, Andrea.